Hello there, my name is Dorian Ranjera. Now in this video, I'm going to be walking you through 11 money making flows that every single brand must have. Now, as I said, my name is Dorian and I help purpose driven brands add an extra 20 to 30% of new monthly revenue purely through email marketing. Now, let's jump straight into it. Let me just make this a bit smaller. So, you absolutely must have these flows in order to generate any form of ridiculous amounts of revenue through email automations. Now, the very first one is your welcome series. Now, the welcome series is the most important automation sequence of all of them. Now, it is responsible for 91% of open rates on average. Now, this automation flow gives you the chance to essentially turn a subscriber into a loyal customer. So it's absolutely vital that you nail this flow. Now, the trigger should oftentimes immediately be after someone signs up to your email list in order to essentially deliver exactly what you've promised them. So whether it may be a 10% discount, $10 discount, whatever, or some form of compensation. So have between 5 to 8 emails in your welcome series automations. Now, that's just a recommendation for different brands. It may vary depending on what industry they're in, so it's good to test. Now, the purpose of this flow essentially is to build relationships with new subscribers. And nurture and engage new subscribers, deliver the offer that you essentially promised them, talk about your brand values and what they can expect from future emails, also as well as building trust. So essentially now the best practices to follow is to make your subscribers feel welcomed, talk about USPs, offer a unique discount so they can feel special, provide a ton of social proof, so from influencers, specific publications you may have been on, any form of, I guess, high perceived publication would be great. So showcase a bestseller or bestsellers, and in the second, which is the abandoned cart. So not the abandoned checkout, but the abandoned cart. Now, the average abandoned cart ranges between 70 to 8%, 85% in the e-commerce industry. Now, that's a lot of lost sales. Now, the abandoned cart flow prevents this from happening. So it's typically kind of triggered when someone adds to their carts but doesn't start the checkout process. Now, this email sequence is going to be one of your most profitable ones, and have between 4 to 6 flows in your abandoned cart flows. And again, it depends on what industry, so that's just a basic recommendation. Purpose of this flow is to recover sales, convert hot audiences into customers, add a bit of FOMO and urgency, and the best practices for this flow essentially is to offer a great incentive, so a great offer, provide social proof, and have very short copy to make it very clear, with make your call to action very clear, so they have one kind of direction to go into. Create urgency and scarcity to kind of incentivize them to purchase faster. Add a dynamic content, so whatever product they may have viewed, simply make sure it's dynamically within the email. And target high value carts versus low value carts. Now, the very third one is the abandoned checkout. Now, this is not the abandoned cart, very different. This sequence often to refer to the abandoned cart automation, and the goal essentially is here to recover any lost sales during the sales process, the checkout process. This flow is very similar to the cart abandonment, which is why I'm not going to be having any kind of best practices, because it's very, very similar. You can literally just copy and paste it. Now, number 4, browse abandonment. Now, 90% of first-time visitors exit their website without making a purchase. Now, this is where the browse abandonment flow comes in handy, essentially. This automation sequence is very, very underrated and typically not utilized by many brands. Now, this flow is triggered when a visitor has viewed a product on your site but hasn't taken any action, like adding it to cart or starting the checkout process. They're just simply viewing it. Sometimes this flow can actually account for 20 to 30% compared to the other automation, so really don't ignore this. Now, the flow is extremely powerful because it kind of pulls dynamic content into the email. So if someone viewed a medium-sized shirt, for example, that product will be displayed on the abandoned for the browser banner email, and you can get very, very technical with this flow. Target people who have participated in specific behaviors, interest, exactly what they've done, and really segment those audiences. And have between 3 to 4 emails in your browser banner email. Again, that is a recommendation. You can test it and see exactly what fits the brand comfortably. Now, for the purpose of this flow, essentially, is to convert interested subscribers into customers, build engagement within the brand, and add FOMO and scarcity, etc. Best practices to follow within this flow as well is having provide a ton of social proofs, again, and just going on publications, guarantees, proof, some form of, I guess, testimonials or reviews, and have a short and catchy subject line, entice subscribers with different offers, have 2 to 3 clear and bold call to actions. Actually, keep that to that minimum 2. Add scarcity and urgency, and also as well as dynamic content, so it can be very, very personalized depending on what product they've used. Now, the 5th is the site abandonment. Now, the site abandonment flow is triggered when a visitor views your homepage, category, or collections, but hasn't viewed any product pages. Now, this flow is great to gain some more additional revenue. And now, you'd ideally want to have anywhere from 1 to 2 emails in your browse abandonment automation. Now, in your site abandonment automations, simply do not exceed more than 2 for this flow, because there's really no need to. It's not the highest of revenue generating. Now, the purpose of this flow is to convert visitors into customers, and the best practices for this flow is to promote your best sellers. Don't be too salesy at all. Just try to provide as much value as you can, and really just try to provide a ton of testimonials for social proof, and really build credibility and build a ton of trust, essentially. And that way, eventually, they can go through the funnel and you can really nurture them.